Hello, incredible people. Welcome to On with Orion, sharing information that people want to know. I am your host, Orion Holmes, and I am so delighted that you could join us this evening. And before we get started, I always have to give the glory and everything to the Father because without Him, I couldn't do this. So I give Him the honor, the praise, and the glory because He made this possible. It's His podcast. My name may be on it because I'm His servant, but it's His podcast. So I just want you to know that. So, anyway, I just want you to like, share, and subscribe because that way everyone will hear about this program, and also you'll get an opportunity to hear about all my new ones that come out, and they're great. Yeah, I really appreciate them. God has really blessed me with this. But I just want to let you know this evening I have a distinguished guest. I am very I guess you could say honored to have him as my guest. He has a lovely family. He and his wife, Alicia. I just think the world of them. I kind of like call him my kind of like son on the side, although he does have a mother. But I just love their spirit, very down to earth. I had no idea he was the CEO of his company, okay? Because he's just so humble. But I just thank God for him. I just want to let you know that he is truly a man of God. He is, put my glasses on, he is the CEO of Pathways Psychological Services, LLC, and is located in Burke, Virginia. He is the owner and licensed clinical psychologist. So I'm just really excited that he's going to that he is the guest for this evening. And boy, I will be airing this on Thursday evening at 7 o'clock, but we're just going to go ahead and get started. But I just thank God for him. So I just want to say thank you for coming, sir. I really appreciate you. It is really a blessing and a privilege to have you as my guest for the evening. So.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure being here tonight. Thank you.
Great. So what I want to do, he has, I mean, his education, I'll probably talk about it all day long if I try to give all this information, but I'm just going to give you a little bit of his education. But trust me, it's plenty here. I mean, plenty. I mean, today he's with the, education from 2019 to April 2019 to October 2019, he was with the Chicago School of Professional Psychology, doctorate in clinical psychology. I think I went to his one of his parties for that. And by the way, we're in the same church too. So I just want to throw that in there. And that's how I met him and his family. And just wonderful people. So anyway, it's so much here. I mean, really here. So when you get to know him, you will be very impressed. I mean, he's got so much from the year. Oh gosh, it goes all the way back to April. What is it? August 2012, all the way to May. Anyway, it's a lot. You
don't have to say all that. That's for sure.
Anyway, he's a terrific person. I mean, he's going to really ease our, I guess you could say he will ease us as far as being out there because, a lot of people do not like talking to psychologists or psychiatrists because they think it's going to be something making people think they're either mentally ill or they're crazy or it might hurt them career-wise. So he's going to clarify some of those things, just give you an idea of what's really going on. And that, we all need some type of counseling. I'm going to tell you right now. I know I do. So I really am really delighted. So I'm just going to go ahead and say today we're going to be talking about something that touches every single one of us, whether we realize it or not, our mental health. Yes, indeed. We hear these words all the time: therapy, psychologist, psychiatrist, counselor, but a lot of us aren't quite sure what they actually mean or where we'll even go if we needed help. So today we're going to clear some of that up. My guest Dr. Daniel Hutson is exactly the right person to help us do it. Dr. Hutson is a licensed, as I said, clinical psychologist and the owner of Pathways Psychological Services with over 20 years of experience. Woo, that's a lot. Helping people through some of life's hardest seasons. Work that began supporting military service members, veterans, and their families. Before he opened his own practice, he's licensed across Virginia, Maryland, and DC. And his work spans children, teenagers, adults, and couples. From anxiety and grief to Gottman method, couples, therapy to psychological testing for ADHD and autism. Now, Dr. Hutson also brings something to this conversation that goes beyond his clinical training. He is a preacher's child, and he spent decades serving in, let me make sure I get this right, ministry, children's ministry, youth ministry, usher ministry, as a deacon, and as a member of multiple church boards. So he understands. He is very, very personable. How faith, community, and emotional well-being are all woven together. And that's a perspective you don't always hear in a conversation about mental health. I know if I was going to see somebody, I really have to make sure that he is a Christian, because that's the only one I would rather deal with, okay? I'm going to leave the rest of that alone. What I appreciate about Dr. Hutson's approach is his belief that healing happens in a space that's safe, honest, and free of judgment, and that you don't have to be in crisis to deserve support. So whether you thought about reaching out to help yourself or you just want to understand what all these terms really mean, this conversation is for you. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to move right along here. And I have some questions I want to ask Dr. Hutson that I think that many of you might want to ask too. And, you know, when it's over, if he wanted to give his email address so that you can reach out to him to if you have any other questions, I'm sure he wouldn't mind doing that. So what I'm going to ask the first thing is, Dr. Hutson, what exactly is mental health?
Sure, and thank you for the introduction. And it really is a pleasure to be here on your podcast. I wanted to get on this podcast because mental health is one of those things that is very unknown. Right? People don't know much about it. They're scared about it. And so this is my opportunity on your podcast to kind of let people understand a little bit more about it, become more familiar with it, so they'll be willing to come out and seek help when that help is necessary and needed. So mental health really refers to our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It really shapes how we think, feel, how we cope, how we communicate, how we handle stress, how we relate to others, and how we make decisions. So really what I'm saying is that mental health is a part of our everyday life. Everyone has mental health just like everyone has physical health, right? It's not a fixed trait or label. It rises and falls over time, and it does it in response to circumstances, to our relationships, to our biology, to our stress. Mental health exists on a continuum, and seeking support is not only for moments of crisis, but it's also for everyday situations and moments, right? Because it is a part of our everyday life for us. Mental health, to explain a little bit better as well, is shaped by several factors. Biology, so our genetics, brain chemistry, hormones, sleep, physical health, substance use, all those things have an impact on our mental health. It's also impacted by psychological factors, our thought patterns, coping skills, past experiences, self-esteem, emotional regulation, all those things impact our mental health as well. And then there's the social factors like our relationships, community, work, financial stress, culture, safety, religion, everything, really impacts our mental health. So it's really is important for us to understand that mental health is kind of once again woven into our everyday life, is not just something that is there or present when we're having problems. It's always present. It's always there. So mental health, once again, is really important for us to understand. So just kind of like our physical well-being, that we maybe go get checkups and things like that when we're not feeling, we do that when we're not feeling physically well. We can do the same thing when we're not feeling mentally well, right? Also. So that's a little bit about what mental, health is.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Another question I have is, how is mental health different from mental illness?
Okay, really good. I just mentioned just a moment ago that mental health is like on a continuum, right? So mental illness is on the other end of that continuum. If we are doing great and we are doing wonderful, then we are like thriving. Life is wonderful, right? Mental health is at a premium. We have not saying nothing to worry about, but life is really good. Um, from that point, it might go down to we're just surviving, or life is a little strained. We're stressed. We're a little bit, stretched thin. We're irritable. We're tired. Life is, kind of upon us a little bit more. As we're moving to the other end of that continuum, we might be struggling, right? Which means that we might be distressed right now at this moment, and that distress could affect our work. It could affect our relationships. It can reflect impact our health. Everything is actually impacted by that when we're on that end of the continuum. Once again, this mental health continuum. And the last one is crisis mode, when we're just completely overwhelmed, unable to cope. Possibly we're not in a safe place or anything else like that. So when we're talking about mental illness is on the other end of that continuum, that when we're struggling and we're in crisis mode. Now, the one thing I do want to say real quickly is that mental health in the United States, for us, I'm not talking about any other country, is really prevalent around the entire globe, excuse me. But here in the United States, I want to just give a couple of numbers for you. So more than 1 in 5 U.S. adults experience a mental health illness in a given year. So that's roughly 61.5 million people, which is about 23% of adults. Which is, and I'm not even talking about children, but about 23% of adults. And if you think about that, that's almost a quarter of all people in the United States that have some kind of mental illness, right? Now, that's mental illness. That's that other end of the continuum that I was just talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody in the United States has mental health, right? Some form of it, but mental illness on that other end, almost a quarter of us. Okay. About 1 in 20 adults live with a serious mental illness that substantially interferes with daily life. Anxiety disorders are the most common category, and depression affects tens of millions of Americans each year. Anxiety and depression are those things that we hear about all the time. We say it, and we'll talk about that a little bit later as well. Young adults, which is 18 to 25, they report the highest rates of any mental illness for any adult age group. All right, our young adults, right? They're just getting off, starting in life. Now, you can find these, this data just about anywhere. This particular data is coming from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration back in 2025, so just last year. So very recent data for us, which is after COVID, where there was so much going on. We're a few years past it now. So, but these are the rates that we're looking at right now. And then the last thing is that despite how common these conditions are, many people still never receive treatment.
Wow.
Still don't receive treatment. So mental health, mental illness is very prevalent, and it's out there amongst us right now, even though we don't talk about it much, and even though we don't really know what it is.
Right. That's true. Well, thank you. Another question I have. What are the signs someone may need help?
Sure. That's actually a really good one. And it's really important for us to kind of know what that looks like. So there are many signs when it comes down to let someone, or to let us know that someone needs help. Mm-hmm. One of those things is that people that are constantly worrying about something, they are constantly in a bad mood. They're irritable. They're angry. They're depressed. They're in a low mood, right? Anyone that's in that low mood for an extended period of time, we should have some concerns about. People that experience grief, right? You lost a loved one, you lost a dog, you lost a job, those things impact us. But having those things impact us and being in a low mood for a sustained period of time is an opportunity for us to understand that someone might need some help. Also, some other things that are very common of someone that might need help: if they're having difficulty concentrating or making decisions, if they have low motivation or low energy. One very common thing is if you see someone that is typically enjoying an activity or an event and they're no longer enjoying it, that is cause for concern. If someone is avoiding being around others, cause for concern, right? So all those things are signs and symptoms of someone that is probably in some mental health, crisis or needs to be looked at. And another good one, of course, is someone that is using substances in order to feel better, alcohol, drugs, anything like that to cope with what's ever going on in life right now. So those are all, and not saying that you can't use those things at all, but someone that uses them and they're using them more,
Right.
or they never used them before and now they start to use it, right? Those are the things that we want to look out for. And you want to, reach out and help and let your friend know that maybe they need some help. Or you might see that in yourself and understand, hey, I need some help. All right. And the last one that I will mention that's prevalent across most of these things is sleep issues, sleep disturbances. So if you're not able to get to sleep, if you're having trouble staying asleep, if you're sleeping for long periods of time, right, you just can't get out of bed, something to worry about. And then weight gain, whether you're adding a lot of weight on or whether you're losing a lot of weight, those are all things that we have to that we should look out to for signs and concerns about our mental health.
Very interesting. I learned a lot there.
Mm-hmm.
That is a lot to absorb, but I'm sure that the people who are going to view this will be very, very thankful that you shared this. Now, there's something that a lot of people want to know. What is the difference between a psychologist and a psychiatrist?
So that's a good one. So in the mental health arena, we have a whole lot of clinicians that can help you out, right? So we're going to talk through most of those. Matter of fact, maybe all of them, so we can have a good perspective.
Okay.
That's what it is. So we're going to start off with psychologists because I'm a psychologist, and so we're going to start with me. All right. So psychologists assess emotional behavioral concerns. We do that in a number of different ways. We do it through talk therapy, and we also do it by conducting psychological evaluations. Okay. Some of those psychological evaluations, you mentioned earlier about ADHD and autism, learning differences, any kind of complex diagnostic question that we have, we're going to do that. Psychologists focus on kind of like a deeper understanding of behavior, of emotions, of thought patterns, coping strategies, and therapeutic interventions. All those are what a psychologist does, and they're really important. Now, a psychologist is going to be someone that has a doctorate, okay? A PhD or a PsyD. A PhD is a doctor of philosophy. A PsyD is a doctorate of psychology, okay? That's just our how we're designated, okay? So if you see either one of those, you definitely know it's someone that can help you out. We specialize, once again, in all matters of the brain, all matters of thought, of emotions. Now, the difference between us and a psychiatrist, I'm going to actually start with first how we're similar. Okay, we're similar in that we both do talk therapy. We're
Mhm.
similar in that we both diagnose mental illness. We're
Okay.
similar in that we are trying to make people better. All
Right.
Where we differ a little bit is that psychiatrists prescribe medication.
Okay.
Okay? They prescribe the medication. So they are actually our physicians is what they are. Okay. And so our physicians are there to make sure that the combination of medication and our physical body is there. There's a complex medications that we have. And so when there's complex medication, we have to make sure that they're looking at the biology component in us. There's also other co-occurring medical conditions that they might have to be concerned about when they're prescribing medication. And so biology is a really most important part when it comes down to thinking about a psychiatrist, making sure that they're taking care of us physically as well as mentally. They do the cross between the two. Now, because they are physicians, they are trained through medical school.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they are actual doctors. If you go into a psychiatrist, they do the rotations between all the different units in a hospital,
Okay.
including psychiatry, which is mental health. All right, so that means your psychiatrist can even deliver your baby for you because they've done a rotation through that before.
Oh,
So
okay.
they are complete medical doctors, is what they
Oh,
are. They just
okay.
specialize in psychiatry. That's all. So
Interesting.
they're pretty neat in that, right? So,
Ooh.
but that's the difference between those two. Now, the next person that you have down coming down is a psychiatric nurse practitioner. A psychiatric nurse practitioner is similar to a psychiatrist,
Mhm.
except for they don't have that medical degree. They
Okay.
prescribe medication, they do the talk therapy, they do all those things. They just don't have a medical degree. They're you can I don't like saying a step down, but they're just a little different. That's all. Okay. After them, you have a clinical social worker. So you've heard of social workers before. We all have. We
Yeah.
see them everywhere around. But clinical social workers also provide therapy, and they also help clients connect with community resources, which is really the biggest portion of social workers. They also navigate family systems and coordinate care for us as well. So their training emphasizes the person within their environment, which makes them skilled at addressing practical and social needs alongside emotional ones as
Mm-hmm.
well. Now, for a social worker, their degree is a master's degree. It's a master of social work, and then a license as well. So everybody that we just mentioned all have to have a license, but their education is a master's degree of social work.
Okay. Mhm.
Okay. The next one after that is a licensed professional counselor. Licensed professional counselor is someone that is a counselor. Their goal is to work with people on just kind of like emotional support for like stress, anxiety, grief, life transition, relationship difficulties, all those everyday struggles that we're talking about. Their training is also a master's degree as well. And then the last one that I'll mention is going to be a peer support specialist. These are people that are just working and helping you out and is based on their own life experience. So these peer support specialists, a lot of times you'll see in substance use locations because they have a personal experience with that, a personal experience with using, a personal experience with getting off that, a personal experience with maybe getting back on it again and back off it again. So that connection that they can make with an individual is really important.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So as you can see, there's a long laundry list of clinicians that can help you out in different ways that can help you out. All of them provide talk therapy, but then there's some specialization that goes in there
Okay.
between them. Mhm.
Boy, that's a lot of information, but it's very useful, and glad to know that because I didn't know, but that's great. But so, how do you choose the right therapist?
That's a really good question, and it's really important to understand what best suits us. So the very first thing you want to do is start with, what do I need? Okay. Now
Okay.
that seems like a very simple, easy question, but it's also very difficult as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes we don't even know what we need. Sometimes we don't even know what's going on with us,
Right.
right? So trying to understand what the need is tough. But some people think their need is medication. So if I believe that I need medication, not saying that you're right or wrong, but if you think you need medication, you would go to that psychiatrist.
Mm-hmm.
If you need to just talk to someone, right, because you're having some troubles, any one of those people that I mentioned, you can go through for sure. Now,
Okay.
there are some people that definitely need evaluation or testing that needs to be completed on them because they're worried they have some type of like ADHD, autism, learning disorder, or they might have a gift. They might be gifted and talented, right, in school. So they want testing to be done. Or they might have memory problems, like not necessarily Alzheimer's or dementia, but they're concerned that their memory is impacted. So they might want to do some testing. So you'll find a psychologist as well. So the
Oh,
first thing that you do is try to figure out what is my need. The next thing is really trying to figure out What type, how am I going to pay for this basically, right? Is really a practical thing, right? What insurance do I have? Where am I located? Where can I go? Do I need to do telehealth? Do I need to be in the office?
Mhm.
Um, is this person someone that speaks my language? Is it someone that I need that is culturally similar to me because I might feel more comfortable speaking with them?
Right.
So that's really understanding a really good the thing to figure out is the fit for you, which is really important. And we're going to talk about that in just another moment as well. And then next one is consider the experience of the provider. And so anytime that you want to go to someone, just like anything else, take a look at their resume, right? My wife asks me every single time I'm about to buy something, did you look at the reviews? And most of the time I say no, which is not good because you want to see the reviews. You want to see what other people say about that person. You want to see what their skills are. You want to see if this person is working on the things that I personally have issues with. So if I'm
Mhm.
a person that's having an issue with depression, then guess what? I want to make sure that the clinician that I'm seeking out deals with depression. If they do not, then that might not be the best fit for me. If I have a problem with ADHD, I want to make sure that that clinician works with those with ADHD. If not, he might not be a great fit for me. So I'm going to look for that person based on their experience and my need. The last one is make sure that um, when you finally pick a person and you go and you sit there with them, give yourself a little bit of time to establish some rapport with that clinician. And for them, and I say you establish rapport and vice versa, because a therapeutic relationship is really important. When we're talking about therapy, I'm going to talk about therapy specifically, which all of us do. The therapeutic relationship is about 70% of your healing, about 70% of you getting better, right? And it seems kind of weird because it's just a relationship, but we all have a lot of different, as you see on the laundry list of people that can help you out. We all can help out. We all have different gifts and talents and everything. But if I can't connect with you, then I won't be able to work with you, right?
Right.
And so give yourself a couple days to work with that person. And if it's a good fit, perfect. Keep working with them. If it's not a good fit, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with that provider. It's just that you're not going to meet my needs. And it's important for your needs to be met. Any good clinician will tell you that it's important for you to find the right person for your needs. Okay. So the therapeutic relationship is the most important thing out of everything in this whole list of things that I just mentioned. But that's how you choose the right provider. So listen to yourself is what it is when you're trying to figure out the right provider to pick.
Um, a question I've always wondered was
Sure.
when you're in these sessions with the provider,
Hmm.
are they just listening? They don't really say anything. Do they just listen and you're doing all this talking? They don't really advise you. They just, it's almost like, okay, here it is. Go ahead, talk. Your hour is up now.
I'll see you next week, right?
And you leave, because I have went once or twice myself to talk to some people, to a person. I guess they were a psychologist. They weren't a psychiatrist, and I just wanted, really, I guess I shouldn't have. I should have went through that long list that you just said. So that's a good thing to know, because I want some kind of feedback. So that's why I said, well, it's very important that you be on the same page, that you think alike. You got to have some kind of common ground, because being that I am a Christian, I don't want anybody who's secular to be trying to talk to me or giving me advice. Well, we don't even think alike. I'm not saying just because they're not a Christian, but sometimes you just got to be on the same. What is the word I'm trying to use, doctor? You, like you were saying, you have to have something there that bring you together too. I
Yeah.
mean,
And it's a good question that you're asking, and what you're saying is really, really good. So I'm going to start with the first one, which is, the commonality that you're looking for, that connection that you're looking for, someone that has the same perspective that I have. And that is something that a lot of people look for in a clinician. It's the reason why I get a lot of work, because there's not many people that look like me, right? Meaning that the field that I'm in right now is very, um, female heavy, right? There's a lot of women in this industry that I'm in right now. So just being a male in this industry is an anomaly. And then being a black male is even more of an anomaly. And then being a black male psychologist, it's even on a lower scale, right? Very few of us.
I don't want to cut you off because
Mhm.
what you're saying is so important, but we don't have a lot of time. So if you can just talk a little faster, I appreciate it.
Oh, no problem. Sorry about that. Sorry about that.
That's,
So what we're looking at is that it is important to have that sameness at times, but we got to remember the reason why you're there is because there's something that's wrong, and that individual is going to be someone that can help you out. Sometimes it's good to have that person with the Christian's perspective. Sometimes it's not necessary. Sometimes it's good to have that person that looks like you. Sometimes it's not necessary because you have a problem that you want to get addressed, and that's most important. It's just like going to your medical doctor. When we go to our medical doctors, we're not always looking for someone that has a Christian background, that looks like us, that thinks
right.
like us.
That's
We
true.
just want to make sure that they can fix us, and that's
Right.
what you're looking for in your therapist as well. All right. But
That's true.
the other part of your question is that yes, we are listening to you. We're listening a lot to what you're saying. We're taking it. We're inputting it. But then we're formulating a plan for you because we
Oh,
want to make sure that we're giving you what you need so you can get better. But the
oh,
more
okay.
information that we have about you lets us know what we need to provide to you or the treatment plan that we need to put in place for you.
Well, you really did answer the one I was going to ask you. Can therapy really help? And what should someone expect during the first appointment? If you can just briefly tell me that.
Therapy can help. And what you'd expect during the very first appointment, that's a simple one. It helps. All right, period. What you can expect is it's different from each place, but look for someone to just tell you what they're going to do for you moving forward. They're going to let you know what type of therapy they do. They're going to, sit there and listen to what your problem is.
Okay.
But they're not going to give you advice. They're not going to tell you that this is easy, this is going to be done. Therapy is like a turtle, moves slow. It takes
Okay.
time. So
Okay.
give it that time. So that very first appointment is just kind of getting to know you, filling you out, and you filling us out, and that's it.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. I wish we had more time because this is so interesting. I would love for you to come again and share some more information because it really does help a lot. I learned a lot. So anyway, I'm going to say thank you to you and God bless you. And I'll see you, I guess, Sunday in church.
I'll see you on Sunday.
Okay, then. So
Thank
anyway,
you
I'm
so
going to
much.
close now. And I want to say to my guests again, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe because you want to make sure that you know what everyone wants to know. And as its information is very powerful. So God bless you. Have a good evening. Bye.